Hello there everyone, Cymark3 and welcome back to Captain of Industry. I didn't mean to be alternating week on week off with this one, but that seems to have been what's happened. My apologies for that. This series is meant to be going a bit more regular than that, but it's just like life throws wrenches in the works sometimes. And I'll leave it at that. But anyway, yes, welcome back, welcome back. Our little island in You Shall Not Pass, and as you can see there has been some progress. I have been playing forward a little bit and also trying to work to stop the soft lock / death spiral as well, because it was not quite resolved last time, which is why I started here, zoomed in on a new little facility which has been slapped in. Not ideal, but it's also something I kind of forgot that we could do in the first place. So what's happened? Well, we were starting to produce our fuel, but I realised we were actually overtapping our water resource over here, as in we weren't getting enough water out of it. Not a problem now, as you can see, because now it's that's full, that's full. This one's not, but this one only catches runoff from this massive rain catcher bank, so, you know, that's okay. And the water feeds down to all the farms, which are all irrigated as well, and we're still barely producing enough food, so this island is not exactly a safe haven like it's meant to be. In fact, recently there was a starvation wave which wiped out about 20 odd people, so as you do. But I forgot that we can use basic distillers for desalination before we actually unlock the thermal desalination plant later on. So that's what this trio here is doing, fed by 2 pumps with 2 evacuators getting rid of the brine. And that's producing as water to help feed into this tank, and it's actually producing more than these boilers need to run these 2 constantly. And at last we actually have a okay-ish supply of fuel. Though our Unity is kind of suffering. 1.2 out of 1.31, 1.6 out of 1.7, 0. I think I want to hook electricity up to this guy next. There's going to be a disease going around as well, so that's also causing problems. But yeah, that is supplying water. This is set to, instead of import, it's bleeding off into other storages, so that's why water is starting to appear elsewhere in the network, which is absolutely fine and dandy, as it is. But we shall move on. What else is new? Well, I've managed to lock off my shipyard. I don't know what this causes, what problem this is, because it's yelling at me up here in the top right, along with a couple of other things, as you can see there. Don't care about low food supply, low Unity, there's ocean access blocked, but I can still send my ship out and get it back. I don't know why that's allowed if it says access is blocked. I'm guessing it's just like because it's like in dev kind of thing. Maybe that'll be changed later, but it was blocked by this trading dock being on this corner here, which I then tore out, and then I put in a dump here so my trucks weren't hauling around the sour water. That was getting backed up because the trucks were too busy, so oil fuel production was stopping over there. So it's just like, you know, just trying to keep things going, and that caused a big spike in water pollution. And of course, yeah, we can't win in this, can we? So I'm guessing this is going to be a problem probably in some future update, but I do plan to move the shipyard out a bit once I get this bit sorted out. In fact, I'll temporarily move it, I think, probably over onto the end of this part here, and then move it back over there later. But that's just the thing to do. What else have going on? We have got holes going on, and we have a slight lack of trees. Yes. I've also got these generators, which I think I'll just flat out tear down at this point. Are they even running? They are actually running. No, they're not running. Okay. Yeah, scrap those. Yeah, lack of trees. So, I need to start forestry. I need to start actually getting some more stuff rolling in here. What have we got? Sugar burners. We have got access to the coal steel for making steel, so we're getting towards that. But we also kind of want to get up to, I think, did I pick it up? No, it's next up on the list, which is organic fertilizer. So to try and help with our food situation, fertilizer is going to be the next immediate step, I think. Now we also want to get ship weapons and armor. so we can actually start to expand our search area on the map. Because something else I've done is, well, a potential soft lock that was incoming at the end of last time is the fact we only produce 54 oil at the oil rig, and this place can burn through 108 going full throttle, and we need it to be going full throttle, basically. So I've actually gone and upgraded the rig. I'm just not running it because I don't have the extra Unity to supply it, and oh look, my food supply is crashing again. Yay. I feel like this is going to be another rambly kind of episode, if I'm going to be entirely honest with you. But that's kind of how it goes sometimes. My apologies if that's not quite what you're here for. My power supply is good. I am wanting to install settlement power. It's going to have to be there, because there I think will block access. But as you can see, I was also planning ahead on a tree planter. We're going to actually go ahead and do that, which is... there it is. And I think we'll make use of this area over here. Though, of course, that also means we need another farm producing the saplings too. Give me a second, please. That should about do it. I decided to take the entire end of this area. Actually, I can do that a bit further, can't I? I've taken the entire end of this area, and I'm going to turn it into a forestry section. Because this is a bit of a tangle, and honestly, I just need to get some trees growing. So that's why I'm also saying it's like fast cut rate. Of course, the fact is I don't have enough saplings, but I've got one farm going in there. And I just realised I couldn't put a farm anywhere else because there's all these little uneven bits of terrain that are blocking it. So I need to get a digger out here and fix that sooner or later. Speaking of diggers, though, I remembered another thing which was not quite happened properly, which is this access route over here has had a couple of problems, as you can probably tell from the... yeah, that. It's dug a tile or so into this little incline here, which I have shifted slightly so that we've got a bit more space for it. And then the entire thing is caved in and keeps trapping the digger. So this is not actually working out very well, digging in. Just making a big pile and climbing up would probably be a lot... well, it will work a lot better, but it will also take up more space too. So I might have to try and rethink my whole approach to that. I'll leave that doing its thing. Tree harvester struggling to reach the thing. Don't care about that one. Actually, are these guys set to... they are, they just can't get to it. Okay, yeah, there are trees around the place that aren't set to be... I guess I'll tell them to take those down. Ocean access block, don't care. Mine control tower is locked in, that's okay. We are actually running our concrete production on crushed stone, so artificial sand. And that is because we are struggling to assign everything. Or we were. I swear, one of these days I'll make sense. Maybe, possibly, kinda, sorta, probably not. We'll see. But I decided to expand this outwards. Instead of like one lengthways farm, I'd flip them around so the farms would go along the coastline instead. And I can actually, by going back to here, cutting into the mountain a bit, and laying dirt, as you can see, I can make it so that it is actually 2 farms across instead. And hopefully that'll be a bit better for farming density without getting so far that it affects this path here, which might be an issue actually with this section here. We'll have to see how much of a collapse that causes. But hey, you can't live with a mountain without making a few rock slides, now can you? I'm sure there's a phrase of some kind like that. Maybe. See, dumping. I will go ahead and do this because I am backing up on dirt again. Mainly because I'm just not getting the places that need the dirt to be added to it immediately. So that'll have to do. Moving on. Anyway, we do have some comments from last time, though, actually. So apologies for not doing that straight away. We're just going to get that first, as suddenly there's a massive power outage. I'm guessing that's because the settlement power came online. Yes, it is. I will change you down to a priority. Last priority. Please. Please give me power. Please. You guys aren't working because of this. Oh yeah, that was something I was planning to mention, but I forgot. There was part of the whole... I don't agree for environmental reasons, but there was actually a thing on the refining recipes mission, which is burn off some light and heavy oil in a flare stack. Which is kind of wasteful, and I already dealt with it by having the boils plugged in, so I had to plug in the flare stack specially for it, you know? So let's get rid of those bypasses right now. So you didn't get to see the flare stack in action, but it's a big column of fire. Well, actually relatively small considering the viewpoint, but you know what I'm on about that. Right? Do we have no power at all? We have no power at all. Tearing down those generators was a massive mistake. Who'd have thunk it? Tearing down the power supply with the other power supply apparently being unreliable is a massive mistake. Okay, fine. I'll give you your blooming power supply. Ugh. My island is never satisfied. Never satisfied. Might even have to trade to bring some fuel in for this. But yeah, I just use Unity to build up the first bit of it straight away, and that will hopefully help out. But let's increase it by 7 just to make sure. And it depends how much diesel I've got left in stock, which is barely any. Oh, no, I've got some farming. Problem is, of course, because I've got this load balancer in the middle of here, directing steam pressure, that means that as soon as I lost power, this entire section stopped refining. So it's just like... I didn't actually plan for that one. I didn't realise it was a thing. I completely forgot. But yeah, power for belts and things. Yeah, I guess that covers the load balancer too. Though I feel like I need a load balancer in here as well to try and maintain keeping this this guy fully fueled up, which is a problem because I've already got this existing tangle of tanks and things in here. Might have to do a little bit of reworking. Anyway, let's let it run, see how it copes. But for now, yeah, Unity crashed because of that. Not enough fuel. Yes, fuel. Yes. Pickups are struggling because of they're getting a bit stuck. That's why. Mainly because this area has been cut off a little bit. My bad there. Also mine tar. Oh, the coal diggers. Yep, I can't afford to let the coal diggers stop because that is actually getting more and more important as the game goes on, just like digging up the coal. I'm going to have to redo this quarry at some point and make it not a slope, but hey, details. Anyway, comments. We do have comments. First off, we have the one from Happy Hafer. Another death spiral? That doesn't sound familiar indeed. Yes, considering the timing, I went into a death spiral in Dream Engine's Nomad Cities and this one, and my first game ever in this one, on YouTube, I did actually go into a death spiral as well over this exact same issue, so it's just like, make the same mistake over and over again. Trucks are complaining still. Mainly because I don't have anywhere to drop the dirt, I think. No, they do have somewhere to drop the dirt. It's just like getting a bit stuck. Okay. It seems you just barely got the handles, though they'll throw you behind the curve by quite a bit. Well, only the future will see if it'll screw you down the line or not. Well, honestly, behind the curve a little, but that's why I accepted those 2 quests that I had for advanced fuel refining and stuff instead of like keeping them around till the start of this video. Because I needed the construction supplies to get the oil derrick upgrade out, and I used that to make sure that I could at least produce enough oil to bring in through the tanker. You don't have any fuel, do you? You do. There just isn't enough oil to pick up. Okay, I need to crank that to full power then. So yeah, this is why I did it, just to make sure that this derrick had capacity to hit the production rates to sustain my current refinery setup. Though if I was being more efficient with the fuel, I would be cracking it down from the light and heavy oil into naphtha and all that, and then breaking that into more fuel, and the whole thing that needs a bunch more power to do it. So that would be a thing. Also, you can see there, not enough workers. And we're also at max. We actually need to push through a housing upgrade as well. We're kind of getting to the stage where it's like, things are hitting the limits of infrastructure, so I need to pump things up a little bit and push forward. Behind the curve, not super so. I think organic fertilizer will take care of our food needs, then ship armament upgrades will sort out the whole issue of not being exploring further on the map and things like that. And our supplies aren't doing too badly, all told. Yeah, look, now that I've got that firing again, fuel stock's climbing back up, so that's doing okay. Though I do need a better power situation, so I'm thinking of like, taking this and plugging it straight into a coal-fired power plant, which of course then we need water, and it's just like, yeah, I need more supplies in general. So I think maybe that will depend on... I don't have enough people. I've already paused a bunch of machines, but new construction has taken a bunch of that. I'm out of electronics, kinda. Let's pause the vehicle plants again. I just lost another 5 people, I think, due to health concerns. How are we doing for parts? We're okay for parts. I'll pause these ones to buy a bit more time. And I'll shut down the equivalent production of tier 2s. That almost gets us where we want to be. Almost. Oh, these guys aren't really working flat out either. I will go ahead and pause some of these guys. There we go. Hey, we're positive again. Everything's working. Hey, excellent. Okay, so moving on. We have another comment from Jared Carter. Death spirals and softlocks are a huge part of learning this game, so you're doing great. Now that you have some better fuel and power up, it should be a little easier, but you'll need more. I suppose that's how factory games work. Always more to do. Yes, that's why the phrase which I think came in with Factorio is very, very on point. The factory must grow. Because indeed it must. Though this one, of course, one of the more unique traits of this particular one is the factory must also balance the needs of the population as well. So there's a reason for the factory's outputs to be going somewhere, which is something some games kind of flub on a little bit, you know? I think Tectonica is one, unfortunately, that's actually kind of guilty of this a little bit, but I think that's also because that one's still early access and early development as well. And that is that something factory games often do is like, your factory must grow because everything gets more and more and more and more and more expensive in silly and ridiculous ways, so the number must grow ever bigger, and that's the whole feel-good point of the game, you know? Honestly, I understand why that's the thing. It's like you're getting that quote-unquote progression, but at the same time it's like, where's your reason for expanding the factory in such a way? And that's the bit I struggle to get behind a little, just a tad. It's like, growth is fine, but it's better if the growth has a reason to be happening. And that row is now done. Let's go ahead and dump in here. I'm also thinking of like dumping into around the sand area so I can start digging into that bit a bit more, but yeah. Since this area got done, I was dumping stone into here to make this nice flat area here, you can see. A lovely dugout area where we have access to all that stuff. Not enough maintenance, what? Oh, electronics. Right, because the electronics factories are mostly shut down. I need to reboot those. Luckily we've had some more immigrants come in. There we go, get those firing. And that'll work until we get our next supply problem. This game. But yeah, having some other reason to use the outputs instead of chasing the ever bigger number, I think is more satisfying for me. Even if it is often a bit more of a headache to try and manage as well. It's just, that's the way it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Am I going to regret having that line of grass there end with stone there? Probably not. That said though, we do actually have wheat farming and processing. The only drawback of that is, of course, we need to get the mills and the bakeries to operate it. Might be a bit of an issue. Also, with those 6 fuel generators, we are getting power, which is good. You are... Yep, you are now massive. You're producing decent amounts of coal. I think it's time to think about that new coal power plant. Ooh, power plant. Ooh. The problem is there's a coal deposit right down here, which is very tempting because it's like many stacks, but it's also very deep, and it's going to be a pain to get at. And I was thinking maybe water reclamation towers would be a really good idea. Just because we are generally still having issues with water, with that being a solid upgrade, even though it's the most basic format possible. It's doing the job. How far are we off that, actually? We are pretty darn far off it. Especially since our research isn't working properly at the moment. We're at half power on the research. Yeah, that's all the way up there. And building it, I'm guessing, yet needs tier 3s. Yeah, that's not going to be a doable thing for quite a while, sadly. I think I have a slight regret, which is maybe digging a channel for the ocean would have been a really good idea. Get some water further inland, but that's how it is, honestly. I think well, I'd like to build it over here. The factory's going that way, so I think a power plant over here. I'll just have to transport the fuel across to it, and that'll work in this area here. And that way, I can at least tap the water feed line over here, which is doing a wonderful job. And if need be, well, actually, I can't expand this. I'm producing 200, but I'm using 180 of it. So I would need to build... I'd need to increase this setup if I want to increase the throughput of water. There's no way around it. The only thing that could be doubled up is this liquid pump is operating at less than half capacity. Well, this one is operating somewhat close at 48, which is 48 out of a possible 60. Yeah. I can't remember that the setups do get a lot bigger later on as well. Anyway, right, yeah, power. Let's go ahead and power. We have tons of parts, we can do this. We only got high pressure turbines, sadly, which is not quite ideal either. Where are low pressure turbines? I think they are... There it is. Yeah, that is in the next tier as well, even behind water reclamation. So low pressure turbines for scavenging the steam even further. Not going to be doable just yet, so this can only operate on a high pressure basis. Power. Let me build a power plant. We shall build a power plant. Yes, indeed. We want to create something that will work decently well. 6 megawatts. Oh. Ooh, this one is only operating at half output. Whoopsie. Also, it doesn't have a flywheel either, which I couldn't afford at the time, but I can afford now. Which I have to jam into this area here. I'm going to have to redo the piping, aren't I? Yes, I think I am, which... Actually, if I reverse this pipe here, then I can put a flow control over here, which will help direct fuel exactly where I want it to be. And I'll scrap that tank there, scrap that one there. That needs to stay where it is, kinda? I can move it down there instead. I think. Can I? No, it gets in the way of the shipping. It has to be on that line there, but I can move it further out. Okay. Sorry, this is definitely turning into a rambly episode as well. Mind you, I did warn you at the start there. -4 minus, of course. Please tell me at least the tree planting started. Yes, the tree planting has started. Most excellent. That will hopefully at least take care of my wood issues. How am I doing for seeds? Not great. Crops are up to 10 months without water. I think this needs to be upgraded to irrigation and be plugged into the water feed to be more reliable. I'm not producing many trees this way. So let's tell you to upgrade that one. And you need the pipe connection, which will have to come through under this bridge here, actually using its third available slot. That's actually not too bad. Not pipe 2, just pipe 1. Oops, please. Sorry, I know this is my peak alpha gameplay and all that, but it's just like... I'm also kind of trying to cover up my own nervousness a little bit, because it's like... You can tell I've been off the game for a few weeks at this point, and it's just like, doesn't quite feel right. Let's pop that there. Okay, let that sort itself out. All right, that's a bit of retooling done, but that is going to do some good in theory, possibly in the maybe kind of sorta. Oh, lack of maintenance. Yay. Actually, are you prioritising electronics towards maintenance? You are not. So let's shunt electronics that way for now. Get caught up a little bit. These guys could probably do upgrading to assemblies too, just increase their pace. You know? Liquid dump, you are getting rid of sour water. And there we go. Okay, so I've torn out the, ripped out some piping around here, I've ripped out the storage tanks that I mentioned as well. And as you can see, I've installed 2 more power generating flywheels onto this thing. So that will at least help out. Output 6 megawatts, these convert 3, so that is why I've got multiples. Oh, that will start to spin up as well. And of course now there's a flywheel to help store extra energy for whenever it's needed. That goes now to that, so there's a little bit of a gap here. I'm not sure what we're going to use that for, but maybe for more oil refining equipment when the time comes to expand production. But that is going to there. Fuel, I have rerouted this pipe here in reverse, so that's going this way now. It's all combining and then going to this priority splitter, which is siphoning off as a maximum priority to refuel the ship. Also, I can tell that one to stop doing manual deliveries, it doesn't need it. Because now that is automatically receiving a full boatload of fuel as soon as possible. As soon as it's emptied out to refill the ship, it's getting filled back up again. And then the rest is being sent out and split evenly between the fueling station for my trucks and the tank, which will allow trucks to take the fuel manually to other places. So that is all well and good. Okay. Little tweaks, but it is going to work. That said, of course, this is quote-unquote temporary. I saw that. That was a food crisis. I will divert some construction materials to get some food. Thank you oh so much. Maybe I should look into ranching chickens. I left chicken ranching massively late in my original test game. And then when I decided doing it, it's like, yeah, it was looking pretty good. But the issue was getting actually... I was actually getting like the space for it in this one. This map doesn't give me much space at all. I also think, just to be mean, I should probably priority dig all the way along there, just so I know how bad of a collapse this is going to be, so I can start working on this particular route again as soon as possible to get up to this big open stretch over here. Because honestly, I am sprawling. My space use right now is maybe about 60% of my possible. This area is not available for use yet because it's still all being dug out and relayed, so I'm not counting this. If I don't count that, that is like, yeah, maybe 75% of my available space. And I need to dig around here as well, just to try and sort some of that stuff out. Once again, yeah, I'm losing workers a bit too hard. My control tower, oh, there's no iron ore to be dug out. Luckily there's plenty in the sources still there. Just time to dig that. Look at that massive crater they made into the side of the... Oops, there we go. The moment they disturb it, they get rolled back. Yeah, look at that. Have you been... No, you're making surprising progress right this second. There has been some minor collapses, but you can see where it's getting into a sheer cliff face again. So maybe it won't be too long until we actually get to where that needs to be to make its next turn. We'll see. But anyway, another mind control tower's complaining. This time it's the coal one again. That's never a good one. But yeah, let's tell you to dig down a couple more tiles over there. I'm very concerned still about that one. How I'm going to get deep enough to actually properly do stuff. Ooh, organic fertilizers. Biomass extraction and fertilizer production. Okay. I believe that requires these. No, that's something else. General? Yeah, there it is. Mixers. Okay. Compost plus water into fertilizers of the organic variety. Let's check the recipe book for fertilizer. Strange you didn't pick up that, but yeah. Just requires 36 compost. Okay. Really? Is that all? I know there's other fertilizers in here. Is it not on my list? Sometimes I do just get to be a bundle of nerves, don't I? Yeah, it doesn't seem to be in my list. I don't know why. Either that or I'm just glossing over it and not spotting it, which does happen to me sometimes. No, it doesn't say. Okay, I can make... Why can I take organic fertilizer and then dump it into a liquid, dump it into the ocean? That doesn't seem to make that much sense. But anyway, you know what, let's save the guessing, just check. Yep, that's all I've got, organic fertilizer. Okay, right. Made from compost. What do I need for compost? Compost comes from animal feed, and yep, I can just do that with biomass. Okay. And biomass extraction, I think, will give me a bit of extra unity, maybe. Oh, wait, no. Biomass it reduces the waste collector amount. I'm just not sure where the biomass collector is. Too many menus. Sometimes I get lost in them. Alright, not really much to show here because, well, lack of workers, slight issue. But I've been looking around. Synthetics are further in, and sadly, I need to be producing wheat to make into animal feed, which will then make into actual fertilizer to help with the rest of the farm. So it's just like I need to do more with the farms as is. And yeah, pickups are struggling again. Not a maintenance still. I'm trying to catch up on that. I still feel like maybe I should boost these guys up to level 2 just to get the extra production speed. I will do this one as a quick test. Let's do that. So, if this does wind up being what I build, I basically just doubled this and flipped it. So that's what I've done here. And then I figured out that these 3 basic desalinization processes will feed into 2 boilers fed on the same coal supply as these 3, so that's a slight alteration. And then that will in turn feed 2 banks of high pressure turbines right here, because there's not space for one big one. And then ideally I'd use the space back here to put in low pressure turbines as well, but we'll have to see how it goes. But as is, I don't have the workers to run this thing, so just have to wait for that to actually be sorted out first. And yes, I did import a bit more food just because I do need a bit more food. Just try and keep things running a tiny bit. Actually, if I install that one with wheat, what will that do to it per month? 4, 4, 2, 2, 2. So if I rotate wheat in on one of these guys, it will cut it in half how much of the rest of the food I'm getting. So it has to be worth that at least. Actually, no, I don't. Just not. 4, 4, 2, 2, and 2. But that 2 has to be turned into a 4. Okay. So let's check the processes. So, flour. 1-to-1 on the flour, so that's still 2.2 per month. And then bread is a 50% increase. So it's a net loss in terms of overall food production to add bread into the mix, which is a shame. Though bread is worth more in terms of unity than either of those two. It's just that it can't come at the expense of those two, because it just flat out isn't going to work. A shame, but there we go. That said though, I do have... Oh, pickups are still complaining about this, that and the other. Oh, you guys are finished with that row again. Alright, go ahead, do the next row please. In fact, I'll tell you, I'll tell you guys to go ahead and do the rest of that just there, please, and thank you. Remove that, and the dirt trucks can dump on that row. Just try and get things moving along a little bit. This is totally coming along. This will turn into a nice big farm plot, which will help me out massively in the future. It's just not there yet. This thing's slowly collapsing on there. That was doing okay though. But yeah, we're also having fuel issues too. I'm not sure why we're having fuel issues. We shouldn't be. See, there's a massive tank of it just there. It's just that this thing's not getting priority over that, I guess. But trucks can come here to pick up fuel anyway. So I don't know, it's just this one more, it supplies it everywhere else. See, there goes the truck off, just do that. Water's absolutely fine. So yeah, we're ticking along. We're not in the death spiral or anything like that. Thankfully. Even if we're not advancing as far as I would hope we would. Though the tree harvesters are still complaining about stuff, I'm guessing because of the lack of seed production. Oh, that farm has actually increased, so I will plug that into the pipe network. I might have to actually upgrade some of the piping to a higher tier along here. I'm not sure about the water flow. These guys are maintaining. Average need is 33 per, and the current piping only has a flow rate of 60. So yeah, that is actually a bit of an issue. I should upgrade those. I'll tell it that yeah, that one can import and export. No, I will upgrade those pipelines. Because I have plentiful materials, I will do so. Just to get water flowing where it's needed at a much better clip. There we go, that should do it. And then I guess you guys are making, what, 48 per? Which is just fine up until it hits this point, and then here it's actually being hamstrung by these two to 60 in a single direction. So it's forcing a bit of a split there. So I will actually upgrade those guys as well. Though these guys don't need more than that. That's full. That's full. Everything is getting kind of full up, so that's just fine there. In fact, I don't think I might need that anymore, the water collection. Not with the all the work this small desalination plant's actually been putting into it. My food is once again crashing. Well, my population is growing, so that's going to be a thing. I should actually redirect some diggers or something. Why are you guys complaining? You want to go to a place that's full on limestone. Am I still digging limestone? I am still digging limestone. Oh, wait. Or you want to go over... Why do you want to go over there? I don't understand. Oh, this one can't accept him anymore. Okay. So this one's clogged with limestone, so that's just flat out stopping these trucks from going anywhere because they are mixed load. I should... I'm gonna remove that link. Oh wait, no, accept assigned only. This is by default. Disable the cargo delivered from anywhere, meaning the import routes are ignored. I'll tell it to ignore that. There you go. So you guys can go over there, you know. This place will accept you. It will accept you. You are accepted. Go. I don't understand. I'll empty you out. Oh, I see the problem. You go there. Because a bit of rock collapsed, so it blocked the exit route. That's why they were confused. You'd think I'd know better than to have a look, but it's just like, yeah, that's just how it goes really at the moment. Though hopefully this area will be able to... Let's bump that to 60. This is taking quite a while to actually get to where I want it to be. But I have to dig out all of this just to get the farm zone. I think, sadly, we have hit past the recording time that I was setting aside for this one. So we've not made as much progress as I'd like. I've laid out some blueprints for further development. I've shown you things are ticking along. There was actually a lot of... there's a good chunk of off-time camera footage. Well, not footage. Off-time play between the last episode and this one. So it wasn't idle these last couple of weeks, it's just I wasn't recording. As I was just rebalancing the infrastructure a bit and letting the game play forward a bit to build resources, which I've wound up not really using this time out. Why is copper crashing a bit? Well, to be fair, I've only got half the production capacity rolling on copper, so I guess I should actually unpause those guys. I can afford to operate those, so I will. Just to make sure I've got the copper I need. How about you? How are you doing? You are doing 12 versus 4th. You're 3 times better. For some reason I was thinking that you're only 2 times better, but no, you're 3 times better. That in itself is actually a worthwhile upgrade. 6 people. Only 50% increase in resources for 3 times the output. Double the power requirement as well. Ooh. Upgrading is far better than actually just excuse me. Upgrading is far better, it seems, than stretching out large numbers of plants, so I think I'll actually do that. Let's get some upgrades installed. Upgrade you, upgrade you. Upgrade, 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 upgrade. And I'll upgrade a couple of machines there too. Yeah, this was used up some electronics. It uses up a lot of my tier 2 materials, but I think I'd completely forgotten about how effective the upgraded machines were. I'll unpause you, and I'll unpause you so I get some vehicle parts going. So vehicle parts have been on pause for quite a while, so I think I'm out. What are you short on? Electronics, of course. But that's part of the reason why I'm starting to upgrade the electronics line, just to get that going flat out. In fact, let's get that going flat out. Though, in fact, that's actually going to cause me a worker shortage. 12 months. -1 worker is not so bad. He says as it cuts down one of the 2 active machines. Anyway, yeah. Sadly, though, I do need to end there. So this will be a bit of a shorter episode, but Captain Midge is alive and kicking. It's just I've not managed to record. So, this has been IMR3. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Apologies again for the lack of service. Hopefully that will tick up again real soon. But until then, feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Helps out me, helps out channel because those virtual headbutts I also crave as I run out of level 2 parts. And I'll catch you all some other time. Research is ticking along though. We actually have got the ship guns unlocked, which I will install immediately because it's parts and iron. We have those. So that's okay completely. I can't upgrade these, I don't think. Yeah. So yeah, let's strap some guns on the ship. And next time, hopefully, we'll actually start winning some combat. But yeah. With that aside, I'll see you all later. I keep forgetting I actually increased my vehicle cap. That means I can... When my trucks are busy, they are really busy. When they're not, they're not. That's just the way it seems to work out.